Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so today, Tuesday, figured I'd go to somewhere that I went to about a month and a half ago or so, to the observatory, just to see the sights, see if it's a better day than it was last time. I was in a bad mood last time going down there, kind of messed with a messed up headspace, but today that's nowhere near the case. I feel actually very good. Slept very good. Freaking cold though, freezing. Ain't gonna lie to y'all, it was very cold in that room. So I had to get up out of there, try to get some sunlight, and ultimately put myself in a position to warm up. So that's really what it is for me today. The game starts at 4:30, so I figured whatever I do, it better not be something that takes too long. So I'll just go up there, sit up there for about an hour, probably recharge my phone, look around over the sites, and then come back down there. Plus it's free, basically. The dash bus is free to go up there, and the train station ain't too far away. It'd probably be closer if I went somewhere like Universal or Hollywood, but I didn't did Hollywood enough yesterday. I walked all over Hollywood, and I'm running out of places to go, to be honest with you, that I'm aware of anyway. So, you know, it's one of those situations where for myself, I figured I'd just head over to the observatory today. Of course, I got the therapy session tomorrow, and everything that has to be done in that building starts at 1. So, you know, just wanted to, in between time, do something with my day that probably be kind of fun for me. And go up to the observatory, take that little ride up there and ride back down. It made me feel better last time, and since I'm in a good mood today, I'm pretty sure it'll be cool today. So I'm doing. I'm wearing my Yankee. I ain't worn this in over a year. My boy Farai was like, "Man, that's gang stuff, man. People gonna think you from a certain hood." I'm like, bro, I am 40 years old next year, man. I ain't from nobody's hood. If I was, I'd be an OG. I'm not even giving off that type of energy. So if people want to mistake me for somebody from the neighborhood, that's fine. Do whatever you're gonna do, but understand that I'm not even giving off that type of energy. And if you see how I walk and how I move, you know that's not my attitude. I don't act as if I'm trying to be nothing, man. I stopped acting like I was a gangbanger when I was 18, 19 years old, man. That's over with for me. But ever since then, I kind of laid off of wearing it because I still lived in Lenox over there, and that was an area where they would mistake you for somebody who would be from that neighborhood or what have you. But going to the observatory and walking around North Hollywood, just a different vibe, I'd imagine. It's still LA, but I ain't going nowhere near where it would otherwise be a problem in theory. So even if it is, man, it's Yankees. It says Yankees. It don't say neighborhood. It don't say, you know what I'm saying? It don't say anything other than Yankees. So I'm not a Yankee fan anymore. I used to be a Yankee fan, to be honest with you, growing up, but I wasn't a baseball guy to begin with, so I was more so a bandwagoner. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate the Dodgers a bit more. I don't hate the Yanks or anything like that. I still can see myself rooting for the Yanks in certain situations, but I kind of just transferred over to the Dodgers over the years, and since we won the World Series, I do consider us we with the Dodgers. So it used to be all Yanks. I used to make fun of Dodger fans. I hated the Dodgers when I was a kid, but I just grew out of that. And grew into appreciating the Dodgers. So now I'm a Dodger fan, but I don't have any Dodger paraphernalia. So I still rock this Yankees. I don't remember where I got this Yankee thing. To be honest with you, I think I got it from one of my old jobs. I might have gotten this from my USC job, maybe. Or my boy Joe might have given it to me, hand-me-downs. So I got a lot of stuff from him back in the day, him and Bilski. I don't remember exactly where I got this, but I know I've had it for a long time. And I wore it a lot back in the day, but just stopped wearing it after a while. But I'm putting it back on because it's a little cold out here. And now that I got these black shoes, the fit looks a little better to me now that I have black shoes. So yeah, man, I figured I'd throw something on. I've been wearing stuff I haven't worn in a while. Stuff that's just been stuck in the suitcase that I refuse to wear on this side of town for reasons that didn't really make any sense in some cases. But been digging in that thing and seeing what I can come out with, because I'm sick of using the same clothes over and over again, acting like I don't have anything else to wear when it's not true. So that's really what that is, man. Just getting out. I don't know why I'm walking so fast too, but that's kind of how it is for me as a Laker guy who does this on this channel. It's almost like I gotta hurry up and do everything in my day when they play at 4:30, because I know if I'm not back home by 3, then it's gonna be me missing some of the game, depending on what all has to be done rather. So that's why it's like, all right, let's hurry and get down there. Let's hurry and get on the train. Let's try to catch the bus on the train instead of walking. It's like, man. That's why whether the Lakers play at 7:30 or it's not play at all when I have stuff to do. I think they play tomorrow against San Antonio, in San Antonio too. But given the fact that everything has to be done, I'll probably be out of there by 3. I should be back on this side of town by 4. And I don't think the game starts before 4:30. So I think I'll be right on time for that. But right now it's what, 10:44. So it's still early enough for me to get back here on time and not have too much to worry about. But I got a pep to my step as if I'm trying to get somewhere fast. And I don't really know the science behind that. I'm just walking. It's honest to God, just doing it. But yeah, man, nothing very poignant. I wrote a poem, and I don't remember exactly what it says, so I'm not about to recite it to y'all. But I set up, not last night, but the night before, meditating, thinking about some things in regards to my friend Kay, as I always found myself doing it. I decided I wanted to write a poem, and the poem that came to me was speaking of new things, dropping off people who, letting them fall out of your life, people who don't need to be there, letting go of old habits, that kind of thing, and telling her more or less that she can allow herself to kind of move into a space where it's not necessary to hold on to old baggage. It's not necessary to hold on to old people. People who are gathering old baggage need to be dropped off. And it was written for her, but it got to a point where, as I was writing it, I realized it was written for more than just her. It was written for anybody who would actually read it. Congratulate yourself. The love that you're looking for is coming, and the things that you've prayed for have been heard. That kind of thing. I was saying a lot of stuff like that in the poem. New news is coming. You're stepping into a new path. The love you've been waiting for is coming. That type of thing. And I posted it on Facebook, and I posted it on Instagram in my stories in both spots. And I also posted it in her inbox, and she got to it last night. And she said, "Thank you so much. I believe that too." And so that was just something that was interesting to me, because I only posted it on the stories on both of those sites because I thought she would never get to it. I figured it was in her inbox. She probably just won't ever check it. If she does, she probably just look at it and look past it like she does mostly with everything else that I've been giving her. But she took well to that, Took well to that. So that's the first poem I've written in over 2 years, maybe. And it came to me rather quickly. I wish I could recite it to you, but you get the gist of it. That's essentially what was coming to me. And it was all coming to me rather quickly, man. Just like everything else I do creatively, it took about 10 minutes to write. But, it was one of those things where I was kind of surprised that she got to it. And I was surprised she got to it when she did. Like a whole 24 hours after I posted it. But I thought that was poignant, something to say in this camera. Because I really believe that a lot of what was being said there was given to me in meditation for her. And I just didn't think she would ever see it or give a damn about it when she did, that kind of thing. So she actually responded to it. I thought that was interesting enough for me to say. So, yeah, man, that made me feel pretty good, I guess you can say. And my boy Farai liked it as well on my stories. My niece Shantae, shout out to both of them. She also really liked it a lot. I don't think Shantae knew I wrote. So she put all kinds of like, oh my God type of memes. Shock face, love face, all kinds of stuff. So that was really cool. A lot of my family don't know what I do. They don't know me that well, so they don't know that I can come up with a poem or nothing like that. But when it really comes down to it, it just felt like getting back into writing is something that I kind of let go of. When it came down to what I do creatively. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I can do very well, and I just don't think too much of, because at the end of the day, I prefer to do other things creatively. So it's almost like that talent gets lost within me, but it's actually something I'm pretty damn good at. Wordplay and stuff like that comes to me easy. So when it's time to write poetry, I can do a lot of wordplay and toying with words and play on words and stuff like that. It just kind of comes naturally to me. But for me, it got to a point where writing poetry became boring to a degree because it didn't have any music attached to it. I don't know why that was, but it's like I don't know. I just didn't like it as much because it didn't have. It was almost like trying to come up with words without having a rhythm to it, without having something that would kind of give me a print from how to phonetically come up with the words. So it wasn't as fun for me as maybe doing playlists and stuff like that. Things that will allow me something to listen to. But since I do this channel over the last couple of years, with the wordplay that I do on this channel, speaking to you guys, it became clear to me that a lot of what I do here is sort of like poetry at certain times. So it's like, why not get back into it? Why not allow the Lord to bless me with whatever the new stuff is, since I have a different relationship with Him? I think that my poetry can make mean more, I guess is what I could say, than what I was able to give to the world back when I was not in a space of deep meditation on a regular daily basis. I've grown a lot since I last wrote. You know, a lot of changes have been made in my life. A lot of wisdom has came into my life. A lot of answers to questions I was asking back in the day when I was writing poetry. I have answers for some of those now. So it's like, well, I wonder what I come up with now that I'm much older. Last time I was writing at a heavy rate, I had this thing I was doing back in like 2014, I think, or 13. I don't remember exactly which year it was, but I was writing a poem a night. Some nights I'd make good stuff. Other nights I burnt myself out from doing poetry. It got to a point where I just hated doing it after a while because of that particular stretch. Lasted almost a whole year, but it was just like, yo, some of these nights I literally don't have nothing to say, and I'm forcing myself, and I just lost love for doing it. But all of those poems are stuck in this phone, and some of them are really, really good, and I never really read over them very much. Read them once, leave them alone, just like I do with these videos. And so, you know, it's a lot of backlog there that needs to be shared with people. But there's so much more I think I can come up with now. Much better, more reasonable stuff, more wisdom-filled stuff. And I think having gone through what I've gone through these last few months kind of bring out the best in me. So that's really what that was. Oh, and for those, and a different subject, has nothing to do with what we're talking about. For those who watch my food video, and I couldn't remember what the hell I used to get at Jack in the Box. I'm walking past Jack right now. It was breakfast. That's why I couldn't remember what I would always get at Jack in the Box, because Jack in the Box was the one place that served breakfast all day, all night. And so when I would go there, I get their bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit at 6 in the afternoon. Like, that's why I never remembered, like, what do I like at Jack? Breakfast. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I like their breakfast sandwiches and breakfast meals more than anything else. I'd get orange juice as if it were as if it were 10 in the morning. That's what I would get at Jack at 9 at night. Every time, too. Every single time. So that's what it was, man. I wanted people to kind of know that I remembered. I finally remember what I used to get at Jack, man, and I loved it, too. I mean, it was really, their breakfast is good. I ain't gonna front. And, yeah. Walking past Carl's Jr. and Jack in the Box, but I'm definitely not eating anything like that right now. But it's funny because I had a dream last night after talking about all the food. I had a dream that it's strange as hell, man. I was eating some type of food. I think it was some type of breakfast sandwich, probably from McDonald's or something like that. And I was still in this mindset where I bought that food. And I was like, you know what, I probably shouldn't eat it, but yeah, I want to eat it. And then it was kind of like a back and forth. And then I did some type of TikTok or something. I was looking at my TikTok in my phone or something like that. And then T Grizzly, the rapper, T Grizzly from Detroit, was right next to me. And I just seen him in a video a couple days ago. So I know that's why he popped up in my dream. Wasn't nothing serious. But I looked at his sandwich and it was half eaten. And I was like, yo, let me take the sausage from your sandwich and put it in my sandwich. He was like, bro, why you want to do that? I'm like, bro, let me do it. He was like, and he asked me, what are my charges? Like as if I was arresting him, and as if me taking his food away from him was something that was gonna put him in jail or something. He was joking, but that was what came to me. He was like, what are my charges, bro? Why are you taking my food? So that was something I wanted to document. That was funny. I woke up laughing out of that dream. Like, why is T Grizzly in my dream? And why is he asking me what are his charges in regards to me taking the sausage out of his sandwich and putting it in my food? I don't know why I wanted to do that, but it was basically me saying in my own head, I kind of want to eat like this, I kind of don't. Let me take half of the sausage rather than the full amount. I would take it from his sandwich, put it in my sandwich, and leave him with nothing, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why that was like that. But I thought his response to me trying to take the meat out of his sandwich was funny to me. And why T Grizzly popping up in my dreams, I do not know, man. I do not know. But shout out to T Grizzly. So yeah, man, this is one of those days where I just feel pretty good, man. Just walking down the street thinking about how I want to enjoy my day, you know, staying on point at all times, because anything can happen anytime in life, you know. That's the reality of it. You can be having the greatest day and then the worst thing can happen. I was thinking about that yesterday as I was walking down Hollywood, one of the back streets in Hollywood. Like, you know, I'm waiting for something good to happen. I'm welcoming something that can walk into my life and change my life. Somebody with an opportunity, or somebody that type of thing. It would be great if something like that would have just popped up, because it ain't a whole lot happening other than the struggles that I've been in and just me trying to cope with my mental health. But for all that I'm putting into the various different things that I'm doing, and for all the different stuff that I'm trying to do for the Lord, I would love for something great to happen, change my life overnight, and send me into a space of much greater opportunities and happiness. So I'm open to that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if I trust it if I see it. But that's something that I kind of hope for. So of course that can be said for the opposite. You could be walking down the street, something could change your life for the worse, and you just got to live with that and the strength that comes with that. So, you know, just appreciate every good moment you have, every good mood you're in. Give God some glory while you're in it. Appeal to his desire to provide you better days going forward, if at all possible. So that's something that's been on my mind too. There was another concept too that came to me, but I don't remember what it was, man. A lot of short-term memory loss for no reason lately. I don't know what the hell that's about, but you've been seeing it in this camera. But I just have a lot on my mind in regards to different concepts and different things that I wanted to talk about. I don't remember what that other one was, but it was a good one I came up with while I was doing my squat regimen this morning. I don't know what it was. But you know, just welcoming good things into my life, man, whatever it's gonna be. And trying to get away from stuff that doesn't work for me. So more poetry, I guess, will be coming from here. I don't think I'll be compelled to send it to Kay necessarily, unless it's about her specifically, like the last one was supposed to be inspired by. And that's really what it is, you know. You get to a point where it's like, I guess today it's getting easier, you know. It's getting easier not to try to overthink about her situation and what it is she's doing or not doing. Just let God handle the business, you know. Whatever it is going to be, let him handle it. And so I think I'm more so in that mind space. He's giving me the opportunity to be a little more healthy of the mind. I've been praying for better ways of looking at everything in my life. Going into the holidays, you just want to not be having negative mindsets. It's easy to have negative mindsets, but it's not as easy to look at things that are not so positive and still being grateful, etc., etc. So that's what I'm trying to display as I move forward. I was thinking about my mom last night. She came to mind. Had a little moment, a brief moment of grief in regards to my mother. No crying or nothing like that, but I just found myself saying, man, I wish I could talk to her right now. And it doesn't happen too often, to be honest with you. It should. If I were a better son, I'm sure it would. But, you know, you just get used to the reality of what you have to deal with when your mom has passed. You don't find yourself longing for what you cannot have, you know, when it comes to your mom and stuff like that. But last night, for whatever reason, it hit me pretty hard while I was meditating And I really would like to have spoken to her in that moment. And I don't even know what about. I don't even really know what about, to be honest with you. But that's what it was. How you doing? Well, sir, thank you. It was one of those situations where I just kind of wanted to speak to her. You know how it is when you've lost somebody a long time ago, though. For me, it's been, 8 years now? She's been with the Lord for about 8 years. And sometimes grief hits you right in a random day. That's why I was telling y'all, like, going to the grave site. That's not how that works for me. If I would go to her grave site and then have just overwhelming grief, mommy. I wasn't even thinking about none of that while I was there. It happens like this for me at a random 6 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm meditating on something. All of a sudden I just think, man, I wish I could talk to mom. And that's how grief really hits me. It don't hit me like that. I don't find myself in crying fits and all of that. It's just, or just overwhelming. That doesn't work like that for some reason. For me, there's just certain moments in the time where I'm like, man, I got free time. I could be doing this, and this. I think that's where it came from. And like, Lord, I could be doing this, and this. I could be talking to mom right now. Like, this would be a great time to be able to pick up the phone and call her, or to be able to go to the movies with her or something like that. That's what I was thinking. But in all them times I wanted to not, when she would offer me to go to certain places, as we talked about before, and I just didn't want to go because, just like any other thing you take for granted, a person you take for granted, you don't care to do nothing that they want you to do in those moments. But when they're gone, it's like, oh my God, I wish they were still here. Nah, it ain't about doing that anymore. It's about knowing that you have people for a limited time and appreciating them while they're there. That's what it's about now. You gotta know better. And so that's what I'm understanding now. Don't know if I display that as well with the people I have, but it definitely made me think about it. Made me think about that last night. So yeah, man, that was a thing. It didn't last very long though. That little moment, you just got to continue to deal with it. And that's what I told myself afterward. I was like, just it was like, I guess I got to keep on living without her. You know what I mean? It's one of those. It's one of those, man. I think about all these different things that have happened since she passed away. I'm not even the same person. Looking at pictures of myself when I used to, during that time in my life, I've grown a lot. I look different. I eat different. My mother really didn't know me, the person I've become. She didn't know BDF 44. None of that had happened yet. Me changing my diet, none of that had happened yet. Living in Lenox, obviously, none of that had happened yet. When she passed away, I was living in her condo, so I had just moved to Inglewood. The person she knew was working 10 hours a day. The person she passed away knowing was working 10 hours a day at Apple Music. That's what era I was in when she passed. And not at Apple Music, but at Apple Store, rather. And there was a lot going on during the Apple Store that wouldn't be happening right now. Some of the stuff I was doing, I just wouldn't be doing that. Honestly. 10-hour day jobs. It's just nonsensical behaviors that I was engaging in, coping with her being ill, to be honest with you. Smoking a lot of weed, that kind of thing. Just silliness. I was involved in a lot of work and trying to stay away from having to cope with her situation. So it's like that person that she last saw before she passed, that's not who her son ended up becoming thus far. That's not who I am. I got a whole new set of things to tell her. No, she wanted me to start a YouTube channel. I've had my YouTube channel for 5 years at this point. Or 4 years, almost 5 years now. The playlist project, I hadn't started it. I was doing musical playlists for her though, so she knew that was a passion of mine. Because that's where it really started, was me doing playlists for her. So she was able to see me love putting music together and arrange it, that's for sure. She knew that. And she was the first fan that I had of that. And but I wasn't doing it seriously. I wasn't doing it with the intention of anybody else listening to it. I hadn't come up with some of the concepts of how to arrange music like I have now. It was just me putting together songs and using my talent to kind of make them blend. But I got concepts now. I got all kinds of stuff now. I got a whole 700 plus playlists done that she was never able to hear. So it's like, it's a lot of stuff I've done in the art. She don't know nothing about that, clearly. I only been doing art for 2 to 3 years, so she didn't know nothing about that. But there's a lot of stuff that my mother just never got a chance to see me accomplish. You know, given the fact that she left the earth when I was only, 31 years of age? I think I was 31 when she died. So it's like, man, I don't know what she would think of this person I've become. I don't know. But at this point, I can tell you that's not who she knew. And moving forward, I'd imagine I'm going to try to accomplish more things. God give me enough living to do so. I'm going to keep on working. And so I would love for her to meet this person that I've become. Working on his mental health, going to learn some things about anxiety and all of that. Some of the conversations we've had on this channel, I'd love to know what she thinks of some of these conversations, because she didn't know me to be nobody to step up and talk like that. There was no platform for me to do so. The person that she knew was kind of video game-ish, you know, silly about stuff. Not sure about how to put forth the right energy in order to get what he wanted and stuff like that. Didn't know how to discipline himself in certain areas that are now second nature to me. All this stuff that I've established over the last 7 years, 8 years, however it is, has been like 25 years worth of growth, if you ask me. And based on the son that she knew, she didn't get to see none of this. And so that's what comes to mind for me when I think about my mom. It's like, this is not who she left here. Quite honestly, this ain't who she left here. I became something else when she left. And, you know, especially over the last 6 months, 4 months dealing with this, especially dealing with homelessness, so to speak, and living out of hotels and going in and out of the hotels and stuff like that. I'm just a overall different human being. And when you lose your mom early, that's what happens. She don't get to see the growth from 30 to 40s, you know. I mean, we celebrated my 30th birthday, but she was gone by 31. That's literally what it was. It's amazing how that went, too. She was pretty healthy on my 30th birthday. We went to, and I've told y'all this, BB King's restaurant. Ate pork. That was one of the last times I had pork meal and got sick. I was telling you I getting congestion. That was the last time I ate like that. And we had a good time. Used her phone to kind of do footage. She had like a little not an iPhone, but it was iPod. I think that's what it was, or iPhone. Maybe it was an iPhone, one of the earlier ones. And we took footage of everything. And she was looking healthy and all of that. I promise y'all, she was gone 1.5 years after that. It's like, that's how fast that went, man. 1.5 years after that, she had gone. So it was like, wow, you know. It didn't take long. Even though the fight through cancer was a 7-year deal, from the time that she was healthy, taking me out on my birthday, to halfway through my 31st year, she had gone. And so it's like, man, that kind of happened kind of fast. You know, that happened pretty fast. And this mother of mine, I tell you, she loved me a lot and she fought hard. One of the things she talked about a lot was not wanting to leave because, I'm slipping, I'm gonna break my neck. Because of me. She was worried about myself. And I was like, you know, you have to do that. I'm gonna be, God's got me. We're gonna deal with that. You know, regardless if you're here or not, I'm gonna have to deal with myself. And so 8 years later, I can legitimately tell her if she were here. It worked out. I mean, it's still a lot to be done. Still a lot to work out in this moment. But overall, you can just tell the Lord is, He got your son. You know, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not fearful at this point. I've been through some ups and downs, some real lows, but I think I've learned kind of some real good coping mechanisms up until this point, midway through my 39th year. So we'll see what happens from here. Still no kids. I don't know how she would feel about that. She probably want me to already do that, but I don't know. I have no idea. But you know, I think now I think about it, she was opposite. She was more so doing when you're ready. Don't rush it just because you're a certain age. She was actually the opposite of that. Now I think about it. And that's another thing. I think for me, it was like I wanted to know what she thought of certain things. I guess that's what the conversation was about, that I would have wanted to have. I wanted to know why she ultimately wanted to be buried in LA. I think that's where that conversation stemmed in my head, why I started thinking about my mother. I think that's what it was. Now I look back on yesterday's meditation, because I was thinking about how we had set it up for her to be buried in LA. And I remember going with her to the cemetery. I remember even stopping at the IHOP beforehand or afterward, I don't remember which, after she had kind of went in there and picked out whatever she was going to pick out. We were together there that day, but I don't remember asking her, or I don't remember what she said in regards to why she wanted to be buried here and not in the Bay Area with her mom and where her sisters are living and all that. I think it was because she wanted me to be able to get to her. I think that's what it was, but I went one time since living in that area. It's like, man, that was a waste. If that's why you wanted to be buried, if that was the only reason why you wanted to be buried there, boy, I wish I could have told you. Well, I don't even visit like I should, you know? It felt good to be able to, and it feels good that she's there to a degree, but it's like, for me, I don't feel the urge to go visit every once in a while. I really don't. And when I go that one time, that was it. You know, and now it feels better to know that I can go there. You know, it feels good to know where she's at. I probably would go more than I did going forward, but it just gets to a point where it's like, over the last 8 years, if that's why she wanted to be buried there, boy, did I ruin that for her. Or was that something that I did not follow through on the way she probably would have wanted me to? But still a lot of time left in life. I'm still around. I'm still in this area, so maybe I can go a little more here and there, but I just felt like probably her sisters would probably visit more than I do. People in the Bay Area probably visit more than I would, you know, that kind of thing. But I couldn't remember if that was the only reason why she wanted to do it, or if that had anything to do with it. I don't remember. For all I know, she just loved the city. She raised her son here, that kind of thing. So this is where she resided half of her life. But yeah, I don't know. That was the conversation that prompted me to think about my mom. I just want to ask, why do you want to be buried out here? It's Inglewood. You didn't spend a whole lot of time in Inglewood. And although my Aunt Cheryl was in Inglewood, Aunt Cheryl ain't even buried out here. She buried in Fresno. So, like, I'm the only person that's near her. Uncle Thurman and Grandpa, her father, and her brother, they're back east. It's like the only person who would even be ready to visit her here is me. Most of her friends move out of state. And it's like, it's just me, and I don't visit. So it's like, well, damn, you probably would have did better wanting to be buried in places where more people would probably want to visit, because I don't be visiting like that. And I don't know if I should feel guilty about that or not. I told her that that's not really my thing, to go sit and look at a plaque and initiate my own sadness about death. That just doesn't make any sense to me. That's a culture I never really adapted to. I don't understand it. If I don't believe that person is actually in that, their spirit is actually in that box, and I'm only going for me, then there's no reason for me to go. And that's how I've always looked at that. And when I went to go visit her, that's exactly how I felt about it, unfortunately. Looking up at a plaque, I couldn't even see her face. It didn't have a picture on the plaque. Just a generic plaque with her name on it. I could look at that in my phone. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's just like a anticlimactic type of thing for me. Maybe people bring flowers for what? She can't receive those flowers. They're just gonna sit up there and die. Probably somebody snatch them down. I mean, it's just, I hate to be that guy, but it's just, I don't see it. It don't make no sense to me. It don't make no sense to me at all. It's just one of those cultures that we adapt to in the Western world that's supposed to be a thing for a lot of people. And I just never adapted to that. That didn't make no sense to me. Still doesn't. So that's just how I am, man. Kind of cold about it, but that's because I believe in the spirit. And I see my mom in dreams. I see my mom come to me in different ways. And so for me, it's just more so spiritual. And I don't think that habit, or rather that culture, really has much spirituality wrapped up into it at all. It don't really consider a lot of spirituality. It just considers its own self, its own culture. It's like, we bury our dead, we bring flowers, we sit here, we cry, we sit there and then we leave. It's like, I can think about my mom in that same vein without having to sit in a cemetery surrounded by a bunch of people who've also left. I don't need to find myself in a space of where dead folks is to celebrate my dead loved one. maybe it's just, I'm a creative. I'm telling y'all, my culture of doing things, I just don't adapt to the culture around me in a lot of stuff, man. It don't make no sense to me. And the more I try to make it make sense, the less it does. It's just what y'all do. It ain't what I do. And I don't think my mom is in there at all. Her remains are in there, but she's not in there. And so I'm really just going there to depress myself. Call me cold. So that's exactly what it feels like. Now, if I had other people with me, see, that's another thing. If I had my grandfather with me, my uncle with me, then we can go there, celebrate, bring flowers in, celebrate one another, celebrate her, talk about memories. But since I'm by myself, it ain't no sense. It's empty. It's very empty. And that's what I think of it. That's exactly what I think of it. Now, if I had a child, and I had some kids, and I bring, see, this is your grandmother's grave, and here goes the flowers, and we can go say a prayer together. Makes it different. Once again, it makes it different. But by myself, empty. It's just me, and I don't want to be there. So I don't know, man. I when it comes to that, maybe my brain is broken. Maybe that's what it is. I honestly don't know, but I just look at it as something that just doesn't really do it for me. It doesn't make any sense. I don't feel like I'm really tributing her much at all by going there and just looking at a plaque and wall on the wall that says her name, knowing that her remains are somewhere in there that I can't get to, wouldn't want to get to if I could. You know, I don't necessarily agree with the dig them up and put clothes on them like a lot of people do in South America. Nah, no. That's hella morbid to me. That's another one of them cultures. If I grew up in that, I'd be like, I'm gonna sit this one out. I'm gonna sit that out. You know, I'm watching people in Gaza and they're kissing their loved ones. Nope. I didn't even want to see my mama in that casket. Sorry, I'm gonna sit that out too. That's something y'all do. God bless you and how you cope. But I am not touching anybody dead, man. Once it's dead, it don't be touched. I'm sorry. It's just something really eerie and creepy about that for me, whether I knew that person or not. I'm not touching no dead bodies. I prefer not to see them too, to be honest with you. Especially if they were people I cared about and loved. Nah, keep that box closed. I'd rather remember them live and in person rather than cold and stiff. I hated that. Every time I saw it, I hated it. It did nothing positive for my mindset. If anything, it made me feel uncomfortable about the whole thing. So I'll tell y'all the truth. That's exactly how I view that. You know, I want to leave the caskets open, make us walk by them caskets. That's just morbid to me, man. That's morbid. I never agreed with any of that. Never did. I just kind of adapted to it, just like every other culture we agree to in this country, in this world. And that's what it is. It's what we do. Now, the older I get, the more I realize, hell no, it ain't not how I want to do. Close that box. Oh, let me remember them. Wide awake and live, not in that state. Not in that state. Hell no. God no. Feels borderline demonic to me, to be completely honest with you. But I'm just the way I am, I suppose. At any rate, hate to bring everybody down. God bless the bereaved, man. I pray about people who are bereaved every day, man. It's part of my list. I have people that I pray for that are without their loved ones, because I know how that feels. And we all deal with it differently. I'm sure there's a few people who probably watch this video like, yeah, that's how I feel too. I just kind of go along with it like everybody else. And other people say, no, I need something different in order to cope. Maybe this is what we do is what we need for myself. But I just share with y'all how I feel about certain things, man. I'm live. I'm here. And we all gonna have to go through that process and transition. So what y'all want to do with me and my remains is your business. Honestly, I don't know what will be of me, you know, if I'll make it famous or nothing like that. Depending on how famous I get, the more people will likely want to do in that regard. Have at it, man. Just put me somewhere. Respect my remains. Don't have me dancing and stuff like that. Don't prop me up, nothing like that. Just put me in a damn box if that's what you're gonna do. I would rather ascend than descend into the ground, though. Put me in a tomb that goes up like my mom, I would prefer that. But as far as all that extra, if it makes you feel better, it don't bother me. Want to touch my hand, kiss my forehead, whatever you want to do. I'm telling y'all, I don't feel too strongly about what people do to my body after I'm gone. other than just the stuff that I would rather them not do, like burn it. But you know what I mean? As far as me doing that stuff for those who I love, I can't see myself doing that. I can't see myself touching no dead bodies, kissing no foreheads, dead body, none of that. None of that at all. At all. It just ain't for me, man. I like my people warm and alive, moving and breathing, man. That's how I prefer to remember and experience humans. Truly. Unless you've done horrible things, then, you know, to you, good riddance. I do support capital punishment, especially for those who commit genocide and things of that nature. You got to go. And if I had something to say about it, I'd initiate it myself. Not gonna lie to you. But, you know, I'm thankful the Lord has not made me that type of human being as well, because that probably lays horror upon your soul as well. So I don't want to be no murderer, but I'm telling y'all certain things I just don't think I could stand in this life. And one of them is hurting children and people doing these things to children, allowing things to happen to children. You deserve a very bad day. That's what I will say. So that's what I got to say about that. More life to good people, though. More life particularly to those who are suffering the ills of individuals like that. Hopefully they don't have too much more success over you than they've already had. Keep your prayers, your dua. That's what I say to all my Muslim brothers. Keep that. They can't break you so long as you keep that. That's what they want. They want that more than anything else, is for you to go away hating God. That's what they want more than anything in the world. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.